Some little children. I'm in the singing and the dancing, I really admire them. Small days is still on their mind. Small days is a good time. Neighbor and some little children. I'm in the singing and the dancing, I really admire them. Yes, they're singing. Ching, ching, ching. In a bar. See for mama. Get 10 fat chickens. And ask you for one. And she won't give me one. You see that girl there? Named Dorothy. She fat like a butter. And she muggle like a chow. Oh, small days. Small days, it's a good time. Never as some little children. I'm in the singing and the dancing, that's really admire them. They're singing. On your carpet, you must be like roses. All you need. Bright and shining, you must be. And show me the one. Love the best. When I marry, I give you the ring. First the girls. Second the boys. Sunday, Monday. Afternoon. Oh, small days, it's still on my mind. Small days, it's a good time. Neighbor, some little children. I'm gonna sing and the dancers really admire them. Join the singing. Old man house on fire. The old man ran away. He ran for the police to get the water. The only fire down there. Escalated, shoot. Shoo, shoo, it's the lady, shoo, shoo, shoo. And I wipes the lady face, the lady wipes the lady face. And she fell down, and she fell down, and she fell in the ocean too. Oh, small days is still on my mind. Neighbor, something to children. I'm really singing and the dancers really admire them. Hear them singing? Children, children. Yes, mama. Where you been? Grandmama. What she give you? Bread and cheese. Where is mine? On the shelf. How me go get up? I'm on a chair. So what's it called? Pinocchio. Bad picnic. Pinocchio. Wicked picnic. Pinocchio. Oh, small days is still on the mind. Small days is a good time. Neighbor, some little children. I'm gonna sing and the dancers really admire them. I'm gonna sing and the dancers really admire them.
The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union will be hosting a special general meeting and elections on Saturday, March 2, 2024. The meeting and elections will be held both virtually and in person in the various regions. Members in Region 4 will be allowed to vote at the Critchlow Labor College, Wilford Avenue. The meeting will be held from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Members are asked to be on the lookout for information regarding online voting and regional polling places. Full participation of members is encouraged. Let us move your credit union forward.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you, so call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have.
If they have to lose by one vote, they will lose by data. That's Data's vote, and Data really mean it, right? She does. Don't be fooled. She does. Good evening to all of you. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock in beautiful Georgetown, Guyana. I know a lot of you saw me there with a photograph at Bamba, Mali. You were surprised, right? I'm not going to say anything else, man. Who knows, knows. That's it. If you guys thought that I was at Bamba, Mali today, it's okay. I'm not here to clarify anything at all, right? And I know you guys are in the audience. Let me see. Good night to all of you. Coming up in just a couple of minutes from now is the former mayor of Georgetown, Carwin Holland. He is with us. Linden, sorry. Sorry about that. Former mayor of Linden. And you guys know where Linden is, right? Good. Well, Carwin Holland is with us this evening, and we are going to touch about Guyana, not just about Linden, but Guyana. Let's hear what the former mayor has to say. I noticed Don Simpson is saying Team Ben all the way. Team Ben all the way. Upcoming elections to the Guyana Public Service Credit Union. Team Ben all the way indeed. Good night to all of you. Share the link, please. Thank you. We only say it once. That's all. We're not going to beg anybody. Share the link, share the link, share the link. Just once, and that's it. Hey, guess what? Dua busted collecting $64 million in cocaine. Now, look, the truth of the matter is, where are these guys going to find money from and cocaine? They probably didn't even know what was going on. And in my opinion, they always go after the small guys, the guys who don't apparently know about anything. That's what they do. That is what Kanu does. Now, I noticed that they arrested some hairdresser or whatever. I don't know what is happening, but you're telling me that Kanu doesn't know who the big guys are, who the big drug lords are. They just don't know about these things, and they just go after these small guys, arrest them, going to their homes, ransack their homes, claim that they found this and they found that. Don't they know who the big drug lords are? How is it? And wait a minute. How is it that they just don't go after these big ones? Is it that they're afraid to go after the big ones, and to make it appear that they're doing something, they go after the small ones? Oh, after the small ones. Why, Kanu? Why? The last time Kanu was supposed to go after a big one was with the tons of cocaine found somewhere out in Europe. All the time you find tons and tons of cocaine, and they don't go after the big ones. Cocaine found on a vessel out there, a fuel vessel out there in Tobago, right? And they don't go after the big ones. It's oftentimes a little small one. They're going to put wanted bulletin up for them. I noticed they put a wanted bulletin up for Tyrone Hamilton. That's the guy, cyclist, right? It's the same Tyrone Hamilton. He was said to have been a witness in Devendra, I believe, Devendra Prasad's murder many, many years ago at Palm Court. Long story. But what is happening in Guyana now is no different than what happened back then when the PPP was in office. Every single time the PPP is in office, these things happen. Every single time it happens. You've got to be careful. Don't be fooled with the wanted bulletins with a couple of guys and a couple of gals and so forth. But look who they are. That's all I'm saying. I don't know whether they're innocent. I don't know whether they're guilty. But what I'm saying here is that they only go after one set of people, small ones, the small guys, and Kanu, the small guys, whether the small guys in Bordeaux, whether the small guys in Georgetown, or whatever. It's always the small guys. Anyways, we'll touch on that later on. We have the former mayor of Linden. Let me see if you guys know the former mayor of Linden's name. Let me see if you guys know his name. I mentioned his name earlier. No, he's not running for president, not that I'm aware of. He's not running for leader of the party. He's not running for anything. I don't know, but we'll get his take though on what's happening in Guyana currently. All of you, good night. Deborah Sharana Lynch, thank you for telling them share the link. On this program, we don't put links on people and we don't yell on people to share the link. Share the link. Share the link. We don't do that. Okay, let us welcome former mayor of Linden, Mackenzie. I bet a lot of you don't even know how Linden got the name Mackenzie and all kind of thing. Anyways, Laurette Payne, you're correct. You get a bottle of water. Whenever we see you, get a bottle of water. Carl Holland is with us this evening. Good night, sir. How are you?
Hi, good evening, Mark, and thank you for having me here. You and your wonderful fans, to everyone watching or listening to Bench Cup Radio 107.1.
We have comrades in the struggle. We have friends, and we have a family here at 107.1 FM. Me don't deal with fans. I don't deal with fans. Right? Well, yes, let's welcome the former mayor, Eglin Gomes. I see you have front row seat. First time Eglin ever book a seat front row. But welcome all of you, every single one of you. How's the new year 2024? How is it going so far for you and your family, Mr. Holland?
It's been excellent. Last year was definitely not a all bright year for me, but I'm still thankful to God for life and strength. I was in Guyana sometime in April, and I ate something and to fly out back. All right, so I was ill until last November. It was a very troubling experience, but I'm thankful that I have life and I can be here and speak to you and appear for the first time on your popular show.
Yeah, and thank you so much for accepting the invitation, albeit at the last minute. Welcome to all of you who have just joined us. Good night again. 13 minutes after 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Time is different in Guyana, indeed. Mr. Holland, as you take a peek into, before we ask you that, taking a peek into that, during the course of the local government elections, a lot of things, we saw the PPP rushing into many communities that they have neglected during their 23 years in office, but they had a particular interest in some townships, New Amsterdam, and of course, Linden. Take a look at this before we get into the questions.
Yeah, this is the elite team. The root team. Strong team.
Number one.
PPP team. Yeah. Yeah, Sam, PPP all the way. Yeah, one Guyana. Yes.
All in the fort.
Guys, they're Linden. They're Lindeners. I don't know whether they're Lindeners by birth or they were just fetched there or so. Why do you suppose, Mr. Holland, since you are the former mayor of Linden, that the PPP has so much interest in Linden now?
Well, first of all, I must say I'm not sure if the PPP, if they have any interest in Linden. I think they would more have interest in the votes out of Linden and the gains they can have coming from Linden. After, you see, in this age of oil, it is only fitting that whoever's in power try to stay in power, get in power, or consolidate power at all costs. And this is what I think the PPP, they're doing right now. They're trying to get in all corners, albeit they are not doing this sincerely when it comes to Linden. I can tell you this, and I never forget the old saying from the former late president who said at the time she has a gift for Linden. I never forget that thing because I couldn't understand what was that gift at first. And as I grew older, I learned and I understood what these things were all about. Then I investigated the backgrounds and, you know, where it came from and all of these things. Now, Linden, as you know, is the stronghold or one of the major stronghold of the PNCR, the PNCR, and getting into Linden or breaking the backs of Lindeners to go over to their side will help the PPP to consolidate and to maintain some level of comfort when it comes to election in Guyana. And last election, the local government election, I thought they felt comfortable because you had a few persons such as those. I was surprised to see the video you just showed. I was shocked. In fact, that was one gentleman who was always, I know one gentleman, who was always ardent, saying, standing in support of the coalition, etc. However, knowing the history of the PPP and knowing some persons will be fearful to stand against or stand outside of that little bubble the PPP has, so that they can eat, so that they can feed their family. And PPP will take advantage of these kind of situations to lure persons to come to their side or to vote for the PPP. I must say that Linden, as you know, will not forget the lessons of the past. That's one thing I know about Lindeners. They remember every time persons mischaracterize or misrepresent the facts of the Son Chapman launch. Every time they write evil things about Lindeners, every time they're in power and they would put aside Lindeners or treat Linden as if it's not part of Guyana, every time they show disdain for Linden, people remember those things. So going to the polls, irrespective of how much money they spent on the local government elections, Lindeners will always be Lindeners, even though they have a prime minister who spent much time in Linden or who came from Linden.
All right, Corwin Holland with us this evening, former mayor of Linden and also former sports broadcaster in Guyana. He has been there. Many of you who watched NCN for so many years, he was the guy, the sports guy. He's also a boxing promoter. I haven't seen you much in the boxing, doing your boxing promotion. What's going on with that?
Yes, actually, I never worked with NCN. I worked with GTV. I always tell people the difference.
More into NCN, though.
NCN, yes. And in terms of boxing, I was privileged to be the first promoter from Guyana to hold or stage so many world championship fights in Guyana, and also to have many boxers who would have fought for world titles. I'm still involved as an advisor to several boxers, low-key. When it comes to Guyana, I am willing, and with the love of boxing in me, I want to stage or revive boxing in Guyana. It's virtually dead. I started the Friday night fights thing. We were in the Wall Street Journal. They said I pushed the Boxing Day event. I can't remember the name. Seasons Beatings. That's the name of the card, I call it. And I started this, and the Wall Street Journal, the American journalists were down in Guyana. We had lots of visitors. They came for it. And just after the success of that event, the then president, who's I think still the president of the Guyana Boxing Board, would have told me that, hey, you can't, the then government, which was the PPP government, said you can't have access to the sports hall anymore. So I was like, what did I do wrong? For what reason? So he said, only if we promote boxing. And thereafter, if you check it back, it's in the press. I made some noise about it. I said it was wrong and vindictive. At the time, they started to promote this every month, 10 fights. And that was my brainchild. And that was something that I wanted to launch off and get going to promote boxing in Guyana. Eventually it died. it died because they may steal the vision, but they can't steal the skills, right? So boxing has virtually died in Guyana. I'm still very close with several young boxers, upcoming boxers. I'm here attached in North America. I'm still friends with several of the big promoters, right? And here in Canada, in fact, I made my debut just 2 months ago, broadcasting on a card here in Ontario. So I'm now coming out back and trying to get back there. So should I get back to ESPN and that's etc. I'm looking to get back into the mix of doing what I love.
So back to boxing, because I haven't been seeing much about boxing recently. I know they have some good boxers came out of Agricola, Georgetown, New Amsterdam, and other places. Albistown, lots and lots of boxers.
Linden.
Of course.
Come on.
And lots of boxers. We got some world champions. Sixad Lewis, the late Sixad Lewis. Lots of guys. One guy from New Amsterdam, I think he fought out of England, but with a Guyana flag. Lots of these guys. We also have the woman boxer.
You're talking about Howard Eastman.
Eastman out there in New Amsterdam. And then there was the lady from Albistown. Is it? What's her name?
Chandel Alfred.
Yeah.
Gwendolyn O'Neill, Gwendolyn O'Neill.
Yeah.
And those were the good old days. But I should share the story of how the Gwendolyn O'Neill story came about in terms of blown out of proportion so big. When I promoted that event, I was excited about interviewing her. And a lot of people don't know the significance, but that young lady really, really pushed Guyana on the map. Went on and fought against Laila Ali and really did some good stuff.
She did. That fight against Laila Ali, again, a lot of our people in the audience should remember that she did. We had some champions.
Yes, twice.
Albistown, but
yeah. And Gwendolyn O'Neill was there. She was she in the gym throwing punches with the guys. So it was funny to see this red woman, as we said then, punching and fighting, want to fight with the men. And it became a fun thing. One day we interviewed her and she said, me strong, me eat me plantain, man, me yam and my cassava, and so I'm going to put his hand on them. Yeah, me go and fight them, man. And at the interview, she put a punch in me. I was like, this girl, she can punch. She packed a punch. So it became a fun thing in Guyana where we had her in the newspaper, etc. And I thought about it. I saw this as an opportunity. Then I said, you know what? I will stage a card with Gwendolyn O'Neill. But then I said, how do I attract the sponsors and get something big out of this? So I thought because I realized Gwendolyn O'Neill alone will not pull the crowd if or bring in the sponsors, the big sponsors for a world championship fight, if I'm just selling it as her. So I start to look for a sexy white opponent. That's what I did. And I found Cathy Rivers, who was a Playboy model. And then I realized this will bring some money on board, right? This will get the businessmen excited. And I flouted this, I put it around, tossed it around, and I see it was catching on. Then they signed on. As soon as they said yes, I started to market this. Cathy Rivers, and people start to call. So including sponsors, it was the first event. We had Banks DIH, and I think it was DDL plus and McCall working in the same venue together. It was amazing, right? They worked together to ensure that event was pulled off. So I started getting calls from businessmen all across Guyana. And I put out a budget. I believe in the sociology of enterprise. You have an idea, you can become a millionaire out of a simple idea. You have a great idea, but you only have $1. You can convert that dollar into $1 million. But it's how you implement it, how you implement using this $1. So I did, being from a journalistic background, and I used my skills there, and I was very known. I don't want to say popular in the sports world. I started to move around. One of the first place I took her is to train on the Stabrook Market. So people were going home from work and were like, "What's going on? What's that crowd? What's that crowd?" So I started the whole noise around Georgetown, right? And then there comes on the other side, you had the Catty Rivers. And that was an amazing event, the biggest boxing event to grace Guyana in so many years. I was able to fly home. Andrews, we had the three champions, Braffett, Harris, Sixhead, everyone, we had them there. And I launched out the career of young Lennox Allen on that very card. I had, yes,
those things, those were good days with Vivian Harris, Wayne Big Truck, Braffett, and
yes,
Sixhead Lewis, and the still Bomber.
they were
and then
champions.
and you have that play girl, boxer, and
Yes.
all manner of things happening. Those were the good days, but I want to get out of the boxing ring and get back into the political ring. And let me just acknowledge one of our champions, Mr. Holland, one of our champions, Dylan Carew. Dylan Carew, I think he was the first Commonwealth boxing champ. He went all the way. Well, our first champ that went to the Olympics was Malcolm Harris.
He was the first one. Was he the first that went to the Olympics or the first that won a medal? First won a medal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he was the first that went to the Olympics. Yeah.
Dylan Carew is admitting that he got knocked out by Still Bomber. Knocked out. Dylan has a nice gym up in Connecticut. Guys, who, if you're in Connecticut, check out Dylan Carew. Thank you so much, Dylan, for your contributions. But let's get back to politics for a quick moment. Do you believe, though, Mr. Holland, that the PPP deliberately stifled the sport of boxing because of ethnic reasons?
I think back then, I think it was mainly the players, but you had people representing who were close with the PPP. You had the president of the boxing board. He was well known, etc. And they spent money in, I don't know if the previous government, I think. I hope I'm not forgetting my timings. 2004, the government of that time, they did spend money in government. In fact, the president was Barra Jagdeo at the time, I think. Yes. And they did give a lot to boxing, right? It was a period where boxing was the going sport. It was bringing the excitement.
If I just to interject 1 second, please, Mr. Holland. Let's not get carried away and fooled. They never liked boxing, sports of boxing. And one of the reasons why Jagdeo bent over a little to make it appear that they were giving boxing money to boxing was as a result of his then advisor, Odinga Lumumba.
Lumumba, good. So good. Continue. So Lumumba being there would have engineered and would have gotten quite a bit done or encouragement in terms of boxing back then. But now it's a different story right now. I don't see enough being done for boxing. I don't see the kind of respect. I see they're selectively supporting a few boxers, maybe one or a few boxers at this moment. People who are close, people who are singing their kumbaya. And that is not good for the sport of boxing. It's killing the sport. We can have so many persons participate. Guyana can host world championship fights right now. Guyana can do that because we did it before, and it's not being done. Amateur boxing is virtually dead. Nothing much is being done, and we're the oil-rich country. Professional boxing is dead because just a few persons wanted to hold on to stuff. This is where the government had to step in and show that we care about boxing and about boxers. Besides that, when boxers fought for world championship, I think it's only right that the government continue to give them things. And even those who would not have won world championship, I think it's only right that the PPP see it fit to take care of boxers. What about the insurance scheme that promoters had to pay into? I think the government need to look into that, pay into this insurance for boxers, etc. What happened to that? What these boxers, some of them with head injuries and so on, and nothing was given to them as a result of that.
Well, you're correct. A lot of them made, some of them made some money too. Six
Yeah,
Ed Lewis made a little change. He came back to Guyana. God bless the dead, as they say. Six Ed was a very good friend. He made some money. And then I believe Terrence Alley in his earlier days made some money too. Good night to the relatives of Terrence out there
yeah,
on Mike Coney's side. And Terrence had some serious problems that I believe that the regime at the time, the PPP regime, they should have reached out and
yes.
sorry, Terrence Alley. And then we have lots of other boxers, two
Mhm.
female boxers that we know, Gwendolyn Still Bomber, and then there was another
Chandel
short
Alfred.
Alfred. What is Chandel Alfred? What
Excuse
are
me.
those? What are they up to? We get back into boxing briefly before politics. Chandel
I
Alfred. What
don't
is
I don't follow much with Gwendolyn O'Neill. Every now and then I get a high. Chandel Alfred, last I heard, she's just living her life. I don't know anything about the boxing now in Guyana besides the young Kevin Alicock and the young man from Berbice that I'm following. There's nothing much going on.
Absolutely, and they should get back into the boxing. I know that you said that it's a billion-dollar economy, rich country, but we're not seeing our boxers at all. Clive Atwell also represented Guyana.
Yeah.
Lots of our boxers, and then they have what's his Boy? That's what he calls himself.
Kulibuli,
Bully. Yeah, Bully.
Kulibuli, Elton Dari.
Yeah, so we have lots of boxers who have represented, but again, it is sad that the PPP has killed the sport. And
Yeah, and
again, when Jack Dale appeared to have given money to boxing, it wasn't Jack Dale. Jack Dale don't care about boxing. He doesn't. It was Odinga. And a lot
they
of boxers got robbed in Guyana. Let's
go
face
plenty.
reality. Lots of
Yes.
boxers got robbed in Guyana, unfortunately. But let's move away from boxing. Let's go straight to Linden now as we hop in this minibus. What's going on in the tongue of Linden? A beautiful tongue that the PPP has been playing political football with, and
Mhm.
the state of the tongue right now leaves a lot to be desired. Your take on what's happening?
It's very sad. It's very sad. This morning alone, I don't know if I should say comforting five, um, five employees at a council in Linden. One said that she's ready to resign and step away from the council and go and look for a job elsewhere. I've had talks last year with some of the men who work um, in the community, right? The environment guys, and they too were disheartened. It's not good what's going on in Linden. I'm looking at why should people be begging bread? Why should Lindeners be subjected to um, selling their souls, or just they must bend to the acquiesce of the PPP in order to get what belongs to them? It is wrong. It is wrong even after the last administration, where Lindeners were largely sidelined, largely alienated, largely bypassed for in terms of any development. And now another government and folks will come back with the same attitude towards Linden. When I left as mayor, we had at least 5 vehicles to pick up garbage around the town. 5 vehicles. Linden was also named the cleanest town by the Guyana Tourism Authority. Would you believe it? Yes. We got at look at what's happening now. It's sad that Leaf or Len, the lending agency in Linden, is being stifled. That is a direct affront to the economy of Linden. when this is allowed to happen. And Mark, it's very sad as well that we also have, and you know, of course, the PM knows I will call him out whenever, the Prime Minister of Guyana, who hails from Linden, and yet there's not much fight for Linden in terms of what Linden can get, etc., unless they bow to to the PPP or those on the ground. You can't get anywhere. That is wrong. It is a culture and a mindset we must change and we must stop. And Lindeners, I want to encourage Lindeners to start thinking outside the box. Start thinking outside the box. Because even when we had the last administration, a lot of people take Linden for granted. And it's very sad. I know the president, President Granger at the time, I fought and I wrote letters and I would have asked for, in fact, I told President Granger at the time that they give me a basket to fetch water. And at the time, it wasn't President Granger. He was interested in what I had to say. But a former minister said that I wasn't fetching the basket long enough. I took that to heart. Now, I want to say this, that it was President Granger who listened to many of my requests and granted it. In fact, when I became mayor, the first week of me becoming mayor, I made representation for an increased subvention for Linden municipality. And within the first week or 2 weeks, every municipality got $5 million more. We used to get 11 million subvention, and then it was added for 5 million. However, my argument was Linden was the second largest municipality, and we needed more than the smaller municipalities. There was also, I worked on a project or a plan, Linden revetment project for Linden. $3 billion I thought Linden needed to make this happen, because there are several homes where you grew up, the hill washing away, the sand washing away from under persons' houses and so on. And I made representation for $3 billion project. It was turned down then by one minister, but the President Granger said, this is something I want to see happen. But as it turned, it was stymied. So a lot of people would want to bash President Granger, but he meant well for Linden. He did a lot also for Linden, right? There are several things we were planning for Linden. But what's happening now, I do not see Linden being developed. I can see other areas, like a second track is going to be built on the west side. Would you believe that? Or a stadium or something is going to be built on the west side, a second one. But Linden, we're now fighting. I don't know if it's finished or if it's operational or what at Bayrock. I don't know what's happening. Mackenzie Sports Club, we don't know I don't know what's going on there. But the investments should go to Linden. I think it's an insult to the people of Linden for the government to look elsewhere to develop sports facilities. Linden should be first.
Agree with you, former mayor of Linden. Carwin Holland is with us this evening. Got a few more questions for the former mayor. Carwin, what is your take on the waste of money given to folks who are connected to the PPP, have no history of contracts, have no history of building things, maybe a stall or two, or maybe a foul pen? But look, it's way past the time since this school should have been completed, and it's unfortunate that it has not been. What is your take, please?
It's an embarrassment. Not only an embarrassment, but it's a type of government you see in place right now. What you see there, that shell and that promise of a school, is a type of the governance we have today. The type of the governance speak to that promise, which bears in shallowness, but will not come to fruition. No seriousness etc. So that's the promise that's coming to Linden. Had the PPP government if they were serious about development of Linden, they would have ensured that this project was done by a professional. This project was completed. They would ensure that there is no jiggery-pogery or no fly-by-nighters coming to build a structure for the people of Linden. Now there's so much risk involved in doing business, the business of the people, in this manner. A building like this, you trust it into the hands of amateurs or mediocres or fly-by-nighters, and children, 200 children will sit in the building, and guess what? God forbid that building collapse. Who will be blamed? Who then is responsible for such? Not that we will not give contracts, etc., to young businessmen or young aspirants. Not that we will not do that. But look at what was done. Is this an appointment on merit, or was it a political appointment? Was this a political giving, right? Where somebody was just handed millions of dollars and say, go construct a school, make your money. But there's a larger picture at play, and I learned this is what's happening, that persons are given a one-time, persons who buy into the system are given a one-time contract, some of them. And when they're given a one-time contract, I understand a lot of them are pushed to fail. And when they fail, right, of course, you're held by your private. All right, they hold you by the private. You can't talk up, you can't talk against, because they got something on you. All right, so that is one of the reasons why I believe that a lot of folks are being caught and are left in this trap, given little contracts here, there, only if you sing kumbaya of the PPP, and it is wrong. That is not the way governance should take place. Now, I want to also hold the people of Guyana accountable. I want to hold us accountable too. I'll tell you why. We sit and we allow a lot of these things to happen. When President Granger was in power, democracy was so much exercised that people used to cry foul for every farmyard you pass, right? People cried foul for everything. People were free to complain. People were free to protest. People were free to do so much things.
People were free. People were free also to plan the killing of the then president David Otto Granger and got off scot-free. People were free to plan a violent overthrow of the then president David Otto Granger and got off scot-free. I just thought I
understand what you're saying. That too much, but there is a saying that sometimes too much freedom is not. I can't remember the term, but there's sometimes they say too much freedom is not good enough, right? Or can be to your own detriment. But I see where the president at the time was going, where he had this, what do you call it, Ministry of Cohesion, or social cohesion. Social cohesion. I thought that was a move in the right direction. I thought it was a move in the right direction. And we needed to go there for Guyana's development and for Guyana to be respected. Remember, before that, Guyana was largely disrespected worldwide. No one respected our passports. No one respected.
It was the garbage city of the capital
of the world.
City. Tons and tons of Guyanese were on the benches of Barbados. All over. And Barra Jagdev and others then did absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Guyana was blacklisted. Money laundering, all manner of things. Cocaine in Guinea, cocaine in Soursop, cocaine in Tilapia. Anyways.
It was tough.
Thank you for reminding us about those bad days. But the thing is, Carwin, Those bad days, we're seeing lots and lots of signs about those bad days again right now under the same PPP.
Once dog accustomed to sucking egg, he will always suck egg, right? So I don't see where there's going to be a change. There's going to be it's just going to get worse with the mentality we're seeing. In fact, within the first 100 days, I see many persons lost their jobs, and that was not what should happen in a democracy. I'm very much peeved that persons lost their jobs and were left on the breadline because of guilt of association, and some persons were not even associated, but the fact that they were not part of the crew or the PPP crew.
Or maybe their ethnicity as well.
That too.
Thousands of people lost their jobs. Jack Dale said 7,000 sugar workers lost their jobs. Lies, 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 lies. Nobody believes anything from that chap. But as soon as they got into office, I agree with you, Mr. Holland, thousands of public servants lost their jobs as a result of the perception that maybe they're supporting the coalition, PNC or whatever. Shame and disgrace. That's not how you run a country. But go ahead, sir.
Yes, it's not. And I think the people of Guyana need to take a stand against these very things. In fact, in true democracies, persons can take the government to court for lack of
respect of their constitutional right,
respecting constitution, all of these things. Also for equality, all right, for treating persons lesser than another set of persons. You can be taken to court for all of these things. Even in Linden, the town of Linden can take the government to court if they feel they were wrongfully denied funding for their projects, for the region or for the town, etc. This is why I expected more even from the regional chairman of Linden, because he holds such a wider area other than just the town, right? And in fact, that's the second arm of government, right? Central, regional, and the municipal. So I expected more gusto from at the regional level to hold the government accountable for the things that they're denying or the economic strains they're putting on the people of Linden. But I think the people of Linden will respond and hold them accountable at the polls, as they've done.
But you got to, under the circumstances, even the leadership, the chairman of Linden, yes, the government is starving the people of Linden, depriving them of lots of things. We still got to say that the regional chairman is doing sufficient under the circumstances. Can he do more? Yes, he can do more. Can the mayor do more? Yes, they can do more. But under the circumstances, let the PPP know that they shouldn't take those guys for granted at all.
Thank you.
Take them for granted. But
thank you.
A little Mickey Mouse in Linden by the name of Jasper, probably. I don't know.
I can't use the descriptive word on your show, but
please go ahead.
Yes, I wouldn't. Yeah. But that persona would have served under the council when I was there. In fact, I was told, was very much interested in becoming the mayor of Linden. And after I was elected, in fact, we were told then that by the individual that no mayor, all the mayors came out of retrieve. And in fact, I didn't run to become a mayor. I ran to become a councillor. It so happened that I was voted as the mayor. And I realized it was more and more I would have become mayor closer. But from day one, I got a fight from that fella. From day one, that fella started to come after me. And I realized that, hey, I'm a boxing promoter. I got tough skin. You could throw all these stuff, Plus, I was a martial artist. I wasn't afraid of a little short man. All right. I can defend myself. So, but what happened, I believe
I remember
that
the story of David and Goliath, though, right? But continue. But I'm not saying that he's any Goliath or David. Huh? Certainly
no, but
not.
from day one, that fella was against every development policies that we put forward, and only when braced or in a corner came on board and was loud in support and want to pretend as if it was supported. But I voiced the alarm. I raised the alarm very early. I even wrote an article called the Manchurian Candidate. All right. Um, and I would have referenced some of the things going on. And it turns out I wasn't wrong all those times. Now I have persons calling me to say, I agree with you. But I do not see we'll get anywhere with that individual there at the helm of the administration of the council.
Waste of
In,
time.
in fact, that individual is a creature of the council. In fact, has to carry out the instructions of the council. And I'm seeing in meetings, I watched a meeting where the individual just got up and start to object and to talk about things. In fact, that's the time to say sit. In fact, those meetings, there's no power of any clerk to take charge and just stand up and say what they want to say. It's the meeting of the mayor and councillors. So they have to be there, take notes, do what they have to do, and to answer to the council, the questions of the council, and carry out the instructions of the council. In fact, that office is only empowered to act on behalf or act on the instructions given by the council, not to give the council instruction. In fact, that office is to advise the councillors, all right, but not to instruct the councillors. Just give advice and take advice from the council.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of nonsense happening in Linden, in other parts of the country. The PPP, the evidence is there for all to see that the PPP cannot govern the country. None of them. They cannot govern. It's all about a hustle, all about a hustle, and nothing for the ordinary working class people, regardless of their ethnicity or regardless of their political affiliation. But let me remind them, in the words of Antidata.
Yeah, my name is Jacinti Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. Quickly, as we look at the time, because Burke is on at 9 o'clock with Nigel Hughes, and he has
Excellent.
Don Holder, I think Don Holder, former magistrate, and he also have the mayor. He also has the mayor of
Georgetown. Yeah.
Georgetown. So you guys would want to hop over here to Rickford Burke's program when we're done here. Your take, Carwin. What's your take on the current strike, the teachers' strike, and the vindictiveness on the part of the PPP regime?
It's an international embarrassment. This thing is on news even in the first world country, as you know, Canada. I was shocked and surprised to see that it's making the rounds and the treatment against of the teachers. In Canada, there was a strike recently with the teachers, and the government, they're always at the table. Minister Lees will ensure he goes to the table to discuss, and there's always respect in that, even if they're not getting their way, but they're there giving a hearing to the teachers. I don't think that's the case in Guyana, that the teachers had to take this to court and all of these things to happen. So there's a different democracy. When we say we're a growing democracy, that makes it questionable. When teachers can strike, asking for a fair wage, and they're denied this, even to be heard, they're denied. And that is wrong. I think if we can have the fact that sugar workers can strike, and within a quick time, they get their answers or they get what they want, rightfully. And sugar workers is all demographics, right? All persons of different races make up the sugar or are among sugar workers. Yet, but that is a group that the PPP wants to satisfy for their own purpose, etc. But when it comes to teachers, I don't see them showing that same interest. They've all shown an anti-teacher stance. Also, the University of Guyana, that is another area where there's an anti-UG for whatever reason, that they're against these institutions and teachers, etc. We don't know. We can, well, of course, I wouldn't say definitely that it's what the case is publicly, but I believe they're doing themselves a disservice, because the nation is going to wake up to this knowledge that the PPP government is not showing any interest in the education of our people, but they are saying, let's import teachers. I'm waiting to see, and let's import nurses. Let's import different persons. I'm waiting to see where these people are coming from or being chosen from. But it's already seen what's going on. Looking at the Haitians, looking at the Venezuelans, we're already seeing what's at play. And it is downright wrong for them to continue governing in this manner and believe that the world is not watching. Yes, the world is watching. My neighbor is a Venezuelan. We always make jokes that, hey, she's like, I'm going to come over to your, just the same way we're coming to take over your country, the same way I'm going to come and take over your property. So we have this good banter between us, all right, myself and my neighbor. But every now and then I would listen to my neighbor saying things like, would tell me things like, you see, just now we're going to overrun the country and our people will outnumber your people and you'll have a Venezuelan president soon. You know, but though these are jokes, they're serious things for the people of Guyana, things for people to think about. So while people are playing with the election in and vote to remain in power, etc., I want to say that they're playing with the future of our country.
Well said. They are playing with the future of our country indeed. As we look at the time, shutdown time, Burke has his show. You know, sometimes it's unpredictable when Burke is on, but he's on tonight. And we want
He'll
you guys
be on time.
Head over there to watch him. But quickly, Mr. Holland, before you go, how would you describe the current leadership of the PNCR, the coalition that is? Quick description.
Weak.
Why
That's
do you,
one word.
Why do you say weak?
You want me? Man, you said a quick description. I said weak.
Why?
I wouldn't get it.
Because we still have,
there's no fight.
We still have 1 minute.
The fight that we see coming before, prior to persons ascending to leadership, it's no longer there. It's not there. I wanted to see more somebody standing up and taking charge and showing people that, yes, you've not lost it all. I'm still here to represent. Somehow I don't have that confidence. I don't have that. I've lost it all. Right. But let me thank you before you go, Mark, for having me here. I want to also thank you for being a voice of the people. For years, you've done this, and you've done this even at your own risk. And I salute you. I think I told you this before. I salute you for what you're doing and all of yours. Keep up the fight.
You know, one of the things, thank you so much, Mr. Holland. One of the things that you should do is when you head back to Linden, hopefully you won't eat anything that would have to rush you back out of Guyana. Maybe head or leaf or something. But put in a few words so that they could rename Poker Street, the man, after me. Benchop Street, Poker Street.
Benchop Street. You only spent a couple of years there, man.
Yes, I am original Linden, y'all. Now come Lindeners. Now come Lindeners.
Well, I know your family, and if things would have gone the way, you would have been my brother-in-law. But
thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Right here, been everybody.
Take care, Mark.
Thank you so much.
Love you, brother. Take care, man.
Yeah. Brother-in-laws. All right. I didn't want to tell him table could have been turned too. I could have been his brother-in-law too. But we leave that for some other time. I noticed you guys saying ouch, ouch in the audience. But we get a little fun at times. But let me see what Sean Ben. I like to tease him a lot. The teachers are standing up and look the treatment. That I agree with Sean. I agree with him. First time in 2 years, I'm agreeing with Sean. Right, Dylan Carew. Y'all like a little humor, right? It goes both ways. But look, guys, head on over to Rickford Burke. We were going to have him for 30 seconds here to promote his show, but he already has on his makeup, his kickers, and his bell bottom pants. So head on over to him. I love you guys. God bless all of you. And we have a lot to talk about tomorrow. We should call, what is it? We may have a call in tomorrow with Wayne. We will check with Wayne. He's the call in guy, he's the call in expert. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Dennis Atwell. If you're in Bamba, Mali, I'll be there tomorrow around 12 o'clock. Bamba, Mali. Don't miss out. If you want a beer or two to sip with me, I'll be in Bamba, Mali. Imaginary, mind you. God bless you all. Love you guys. Tata.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
So this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union will be hosting a special general meeting and elections on Saturday, March 2, 2024. The meeting and elections will be held both virtually and in person in the various regions. Members in Region 4 will be allowed to vote at the Critchlow Labor College, Wilford Avenue. The meeting will be held from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Members are asked to be on the lookout for information regarding online voting and regional polling places. Full participation of members is encouraged. Let us move your credit union forward.
Small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good time. Remember some little children. I'm ready singing and the dancers really admire them. Small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good time. Remember some little children. I'm ready singing and the dancers really admire them. Yes, they're singing. Ching, ching, ching. See for mama, the 10 fat chicken. And ask you for one, and she won't give me one. You see that girl named Dorothy? She fat like a butter, and she muggle like a chow. Oh, small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing it and dance, that's really admire them. What they're singing? On your carpet, you must be like the roses. All you need, bright and shining. You must be, and show me the one. Love the best. When I marry, I give you the ring. First the girls, second the boys. Sunday, Monday, afternoon. We will spend our honeymoon. Oh, small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good time. Never some little children. I'm gonna sing and the dancers really admire them. Join the singing. Old man house. is to get the water, the only fire down there. Escalade, shoot, shoot, shoot. Escalade, shoot, shoot. And I wipes the lady face, the lady wipes the lady face. And she fell down, and she fell down, and she fell in the ocean too. Oh, small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good time. Neighbor, something to children. I'm really singing and the dancers really admire them. Hear them singing, children, children. Yes, mama. Where you been? Grandmama. What she give you? Bread and cheese. Where is mine? All the shelf. How we gonna get up? Like on a chair. Suppose if I be not here.